Hello and welcome back to another Cake Life vlog. I've just got my kettle on in the background, so it's going to get a little bit noisy. But you were joining me on a Wednesday, and as you'll see, I'm actually quite ahead. It's early in the morning, it's 9 AM, and I decided to come in last night and actually get these started because this week I have a wedding cake for Friday and a wedding cake for Saturday. Let me make my brew. So Friday's wedding cake is the one based on the Tolkien Trail. If you watched a few vlogs ago, you will have seen us go and visit and do the Tolkien Trail to get some inspiration of what the landscape looked like from the ground. That is what's happening on Friday. So I baked those Monday, came in last night, which I don't usually do, and started rough ganaching these cakes here. So it's a 2-tier. These will be finished off being ganached today and hopefully covered and even stacked. And then I have a very large 4-tier cake for Saturday based on divas. So expect to see Celine Dion, Tina Turner, Mariah Carey, Cher. It's going to be a big project, that one, which is why I'm trying to get ahead. Those cakes were baked yesterday and they're going to be filled and ganached today. So yes, a lot of work to do. This vlog has carried on directly since the last one, so you will know all about my swollen feet. This is a directly straight after that. So I'm still on my antibiotics, but as you can see, I can walk, I can stand, it's all good. Just gonna carry on taking my antibiotics and get these cakes done. We are almost at the end of Wednesday already, or Wednesday's working day. I have my top tier covered in green. This is the tree stump that it's going on top of. And then I have, these are still not fully ganached yet, so these are still rough coated, and there's 2 more cakes that are also rough coated. So just before I go home, because I've got another, say 20 minutes, I'm going to quickly give these another coat and see if I can get them finalised. But then I'm going to concentrate solely on this cake tomorrow because it's being delivered on Friday and this one's not needed till Saturday. But I'm going to enjoy going home in a second. We are having pie and mash for tea, and I think this is like the only night I'm going to get to go home, have my tea and relax, because I feel like I'm going to have a couple of late nights ahead of me. So tomorrow night and Friday night I'm probably going to be working on cakes. But for tonight I'm going to go home and enjoy my pie and mash.
Sometimes like all you want to do is run. Hear me out, hear me out. If all the things you never show, there are the things I want to know. Secrets
have about 10 minutes before it's end of the working day, and I'm almost done. It is very, very, very nearly completed, but as you can tell, it's probably got a few empty spaces where I would usually have something on my designs. So the problem is it's got to have sunflowers on it. So there's sunflower going here and a sunflower going here with some gypsophilia and some filler flowers. I have the gypsophilia, I have the filler flowers. I do not have the sunflowers. I have like flowers for next week's cake. I assumed I had some sunflowers because I can remember seeing them, but I only have one very tiny one, and it's not got, you know, the traditional brown center of a sunflower. It's got like an orange center. It's still a sunflower, but it's not quite the one that I had on their drawing. And I'm starting to panic a little bit because sunflowers are quite summery, and a lot of the autumn stuff is out in the shops at the minute. Plus, I got to deliver this tomorrow. So we're getting close to 5 p.m. Some of the shops that sell flowers are going to be shutting. There's only the odd one that's going to stay open late, such as Dunelm or The Range. They usually stock a few flowers. But sunflowers are going to be hard to get hold of, so I'm having a little panic. The other wedding cake, as you can just see here, and this side are still bare ganache that haven't been fully finished ganached yet, and that's Saturday's cake. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go home in a second, have some tea because I really need some, and then I'm going to try and hunt down some sunflowers from somewhere I only have tonight, and just hope that I can find something. It's 7 p.m. and it's all finished. I found some. I went to The Range first, and they did have some sunflowers, but they were attached to other things. So it was like a floral arrangement around a large candle centerpiece, a wreath, gorgeous wreaths, but I didn't fancy paying £40 for a wreath that only had one sunflower on it, so I would have needed two, so that would have been £80. And the ones that they did have separate were incredibly raggedy. They were really, really bad, and I thought I cannot use those. They had a B&M on the same place. I tried there. I also tried Asda, and then because they were all on the same sort of retail park, and then we went to Dunelm, and I walked around the corner and was just faced with all these sunflowers. I was like, thank God. I actually picked up a couple. So I found this bunch. This was £4 for this bunch of 3. A little bit raggedy, but nowhere near as bad as the ones from The Range. Nice bright yellow with the dark centres. And then I picked up these, which were £2.50 each. They were far more, I want to say muted. Like if I put these bright yellow ones next to these were more muted and have a nice fuzzy brown center. I picked both up just in case, and then I held them up next to the cake. I was like, yes, these ones definitely need to go on. So I've just popped those on, and this gypsophilia, this is fake. You can't put like gypsophilia and baby's breath on cakes. Luckily they do lots of lovely fake versions, so I will give you a little run through down this cake now, so my battery's nearly dead and I've got so much work still to do. But here is the couple on top. She's wearing her purple hunter wellies that are nice and muddy, and he's wearing his brown hiking boots, and their little pooches there just popping over the wall. It's got little grey beard going on. Then we move down to, this is a map of the Tolkien Trail. So this is the walk we did in a couple of vlogs ago. The orange dots are obviously the walk, and then the blue is the river, and there are some landmarks on it. So there's a cross, there's I think this is called Cromwell Bridge. A little building just hiding down here. This is, I think that's Hacking Hall, and the little star is where they got engaged on the route. And this is actually their wedding venue, Shireburn Arms, where we're delivering tomorrow. So like, if you haven't watched that vlog, it won't make sense, but Shireburn Arms is kind of the start of the walk. That's where they're getting married. That's where they got engaged. So it kind of was nice to get all that in together. And then this is Stonyhurst College, and it's a huge, impressive building. It's honestly, you walk past it, it's like looking at Hogwarts or something. Absolutely crazy. And then this is placed on top of a tree stump with their initials carved into it. There's sunflowers, and gypsophilia is their flowers for their day. And then they have another little pooch down here on the board. And this behind is actually a slate. This is, well, no, it's not real slate. It's an icing version of a slate. But this is what is written at the very end of the Tolkien Trail. So once you've finished it, to be honest, I missed this. I didn't know where it was. But apparently when you finish the walk, it's leant up against a stone wall. So I've just popped the text on there exactly how it is on the written on the slate. And then moving around the back, we've just got a few little muddy puddles and grass, and I popped a pig. They have no idea they've got a pig on their cake. I do this quite often sometimes when they knew what the front was going to look like, and I knew I was going to put some more scenery on the back, such as walls and bushes and things like that. We've got some birds on there, and so I already knew there was scenery going on the back of this, but I actually placed a pig there because when we did the walk, we actually walked through like a little pig farm or a piggery, I don't know what you would call it, but there were signs everywhere basically to put your dog on a lead because you're about to walk through like a little pig farm thing, and that's part of the trail. So I thought that was just a nice little addition that they can find for themselves on the wedding day tomorrow. But I'm going to photograph this, box it. I'm getting up in the morning, but I'm not finished yet. I am now going to finish off the ganaching of this 4-tier cake. It's now 8 p.m. and I'm just going to talk you through the design of this one. So I have my 10-inch cake ganached, stuck to a very large drum. I want to say this is probably an 18-inch drum, so it's pretty big. It's actually bigger than my wedding boxes, so I'm not sure how to package this just yet, but we will cross that bridge when we come to it. I needed to put it on this board, and I've offset it so it's a little bit further towards the back, because at the front here I've got to turn this into the USS Missouri. I could be saying that completely wrong. Basically it's the big ship off the If I Could Turn Back Time music video by Cher. So the bottom tier is going to be Cher's. So I need to kind of bulk this out with some Rice Krispie treats now. So I've got my cake, and I'm going to be making some Rice Krispie treats with some massive, huge marshmallows. And I need to make a large brick of them across here up to about there, and then another one at the front, which is why I need so much room, because it's got those big cannons. I really don't know my ship terms, but they're like big cannon things coming out on several layers, and I also need to bring this top of this tier out a little bit, because Celine Dion is going to be stood on top of this, because the next tier is Celine's tier, and she's going to be stood at the front of the Titanic. So I need to bring the railings out just a little bit so I can actually fit Celine standing here, because there's not going to be much room between the next cake. Like there's not much room on this ledge to fit her on, so I need to bring the ledge out a little bit, and I'm going to do that by bringing these cannon pieces out, if that makes sense. So I have the picture up here on my phone, and these are the big cannons I was talking about. You see they're on 2 layers, so there's one behind and one below. And just looking at this now, I'm not sure if this is going to fit, because I've got these big pieces that have to come out, and then another one here, but then the turrets are going to have to come out, and they're going to overhang the board. Maybe I will have to use artistic license and just shorten them a little bit. Just to give the illusion of this is the ship. We don't need to go like full on to scale. This is just the ship. It's more about Cher than it is the ship. So I think I'm going to have Cher, if I can fit her, kind of sat on the ledge here of this front piece. So I'm kind of got like Cher on this section, and then that's the bottom, then the top, and then you can see just behind there is like all the windows. That's how like I'm going to make the next tier up, but I'm going to make it the Titanic with the railings. Anyway, that's what I'm getting on with now. Right, it is now 11 p.m. I am getting ready to go home. I stayed a little bit later tonight because obviously I've got the delivery tomorrow morning, so I'm kind of losing a morning to work on the cake. So they're all fully, well, that's a lie. The top 3 tiers are fully ganached and full of sugar paste. So, for example, here is the little 4-inch top tier. This is Mariah's tier. I just need to tweak the bottom tier with the, well, I'll show you what I've got. So these are the staggered like tiers of where the cannons are coming out. So the cannons are coming from this bit, and then this is the pedestal that Celine is going to be stood on. And I need to chop them down. So I think I've made them too long because they only have 3 missile things. So there'll be one there, and then the next one's going to kind of be here. So I've got like way too much extra. So I think what I might do is wait for this to set and then chop it down a little bit so that the cannons look less like spread out. It makes sense to me in my head. It definitely is chopping down, so I'll chop that down tomorrow once I have delivered the cake. But I'm going home to bed, and I'll see you tomorrow. Happy Friday. I'm back in the studio. It is almost 11:30 in the morning. I went and dropped off the cake this morning. It happens every single time. I was running a little bit late this morning and I didn't have a lot of time to put any makeup on. I thought, I'm not going to see anybody today. I'll drop the cake off. I'll be in the studio all day, all night, getting this one done. So I'm not going to see anybody. And when you don't put any makeup on, you see everybody. So as we went to deliver the cake to Shireburn Arms, which we delivered to a few weeks ago if you saw that vlog, the actual bride who we delivered the cake for was working there at Shireburn Arms, and she walked out and she was like, oh, she wasn't expecting to see me. I wasn't expecting to see her, but she wanted to take a picture because the groom Lee, who we made the cake for as well, didn't get to see me on the day and he was gutted, so she said, I'm going to take a picture, I'm going to tease him with it. Hi Lee, if you're watching. But yeah, it just always happens I have no makeup on, and then as I set the cake up, the bride walked in. It's not often you get to see the bride because they're off busy doing their thing in the morning, getting ready. I'm just there to drop the cake off, and the bride walked around the corner to have a look at her cake. I thought, why is it when you have a day where you're full of spots and no makeup and your hair is scraped back and you're just kind of thinking, oh, I'll be in and out, nobody will see me, you see everybody. But yeah, everything went fine. I am now back in the studio to finish the 4-tier cake. I've only got the rest of today, so it's going to be a very long day. I've cut the platform bits down out of Rice Krispies. I've cut them down because they were too big. So what I'm doing now while I'm chatting to you is sealing the ends up where I cut them. It's exposed Rice Krispies, so I am sealing those ends up in ganache and finishing, giving it its sharp edges and stuff. And then I can start airbrushing the other tiers. It is a Friday, so Adam's booked the day off work to help with the delivery, and he's gone now. He's going to be meeting up with his dad for dinner. So I've got a Morrison's meal deal. I've got a little pasta pot in the fridge, and I bought my first hot chocolate of the season. I haven't tried it yet, but this is part of the Morrison's little meal deal for £4. You get a drink, a snack and a main. Oh, it's not bad that actually. So I got a hot chocolate, a pasta pot and a Rocky Road for my snack. Like I'm not surrounded by enough sweet stuff already. So I do have a lot of work to power through today, so what I might do is just update you along the way and explain kind of the design. You already know about the Titanic tier, the Celine tier and the Cher tier. We also have a Tina Turner tier. That's a tongue twister. And a Mariah Carey tier, so I'll keep you updated as I'm making it. It's now 4:15 and we are finally stacked. I have literally only just got around to stacking it now, but you can kind of see where I was going with this whole front bit. I ended up chopping it down so it didn't go around too far. Then obviously this is the platform now I've created for Celine Dion to kind of stand on. I've got to turn this into the Titanic. We have this, I really like how this effect has turned out. I'm going to share this with the Brigade, can't speak. I'm going to share this with the Brigade on how I did this next week when I've had a chance to kind of sit down. This is Tina Turner's tier. So he sent me a piece of artwork that he liked. So when it came to designing this, they had some ideas in mind. They knew they wanted these two as the Titanic and the ship. And then I had to kind of like design the rest around it to make it work. So their colour scheme is royal blue and silver. So hence why the top two tiers are heavy on the blue. So we've put Tina Turner on this one, and he sent me some artwork through, and it had these colours in the background which I really liked, and it kind of goes up at a diagonal. So I thought that would be a nice background, and Tina's hopefully going to be sitting here on a chair if I can fit her on. And then moving up to, we've got a super dark tier here in blue with some night stars in the background, because one of Mariah Carey's videos has her on a tire swing. I can't even remember if I've already told you this or not, but the background is like a night sky, so we're going to have a tree here with Mariah swinging on the tire swing here, and then the toppers of the couple themselves in their wedding outfits, which are also royal blue. So to be able to tie this in, because it's going to be very, very blue up here and it's not very blue down here, and all the elements that are going on the board, such as ropes, anything that you might find on a ship, are going to be blue to kind of tie everything together. But like I said, it's 4:15 now, and the car park is pretty much empty. There's only 3 cars left on it, so I'm going to go home soon and have some tea and then come down and finish this off. I don't know if I will actually get this finished tonight, but I did ring Eaves Hall, which is where we're delivering tomorrow, because I knew they're having a change around of rooms, which means that the room that they're going to get married in is also going to be used later on for the meal, so they need to take all the chairs out and put all the tables in. During that time, people are out, they're having the photos done, they're at the bar, things like that, catching up with the other guests. So I rang and they said that will be happening between 2:30 and 3:30. So I have like an hour window tomorrow to kind of get in during the change around and put their cake in. So yeah, you can tell there's a lot of work to go on this cake. I'm going to spend as long as I can on it tonight, because I really don't want to be doing this last minute at like 2:30 tomorrow. It's 8:30 in the evening now, and I am just beavering away and forgetting to show you things, so I thought I'd stop and just show you where I'm up to now. So the last thing I've done is literally just put this water on this tier, and I'm about to put the tree trunk on and then the greenery across the top. Moving down, I've done nothing with the Tina tier yet, but the Titanic tier is slowly taking shape. You'll have to excuse the monumental mess that is currently going on. But we could have Celine's torso. She's awaiting her head. I'm just waiting for her neck to dry a little bit, and I'm waiting for this barrier to dry so I can take these sponges off. But we have all the windows and the balconies and stuff on the front of the Titanic with the railings that she's standing at. And then moving down, don't ask. I have just popped some kebab sticks in there for now, because I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do in terms of transporting this with them overhanging the board. You can see the overhang quite a bit. And we don't know how we're going to transport this yet, because I don't own a box big enough. Not even big enough for the board, never mind these overhanging bits. I hate things that overhang the board, because those are the most fragile. If it slips or if it slides, these are the first things to go. These are the first things to hit the box rather than the board. So these ones are removable. I have just placed straws inside, so these currently just slide into the straws. However, these ones, because there's not much to kind of anchor them in, they've only got a very short amount for these sticks to anchor in. I have actually hammered these down into the board, because this is one of those, the newer boards, you know, they brought out with COVID when they couldn't get the old style drums, and then we started getting them lightweight ones, corrugated card inside. So I was able to tap these in with a hammer, and they're quite nice and sturdy. I know they don't look it, but they are in the board. It's only the end that wiggles, so they're not coming out, they're staying in. So I've got to figure out how to get the cannons on that, and then I'm just waffling to myself because I'm nervous about that bit, but I'm going to carry on and update you again. Here is your 11:20 update. We have Mariah's body pretty much done now. I'm leaving all the heads kind of to do all at once. I'll just get in the swing of making heads so I can do them all and add them to the next once they've dried. Here is Tina. I have just finished adding all the little square glittery sequins to her dress. I have yet to paint her shoes. Moving down, Celine has got her lacy sleeves on and a little bit of glittery detail to her dress. And I have yet to start Share. It's taking so long, but I don't want to rush it. The whole point of this cake are all the divas, so I have to make sure I get them right. Oh my God, don't even look at me. The last update I actually filmed was at 4 AM. Note to self, if you're that close, just crack on and finish. I came home at 4 because obviously the building is alarmed and Adam had to keep ringing and extending the alarm time. He was fast asleep on the couch because he came down really late on to do a welfare check to make sure I was still alive. And he ended up falling asleep on the couch, and I called it a day at 4 AM and thought I'll get up early and finish it off. It is now 9:15. I have been in since just before 9 to try and get it finished. We have to deliver it at 1:30 today. I'm just working on the grooms. I have just spritzed them with glitter because their outfits, pants, shirts and stuff are very glittery, so here they are. I have to put a banner behind them as well, which I'll do in a second. Note to future self or anybody watching, it just power through and get it finished, because I was in the zone and I was just working on it, but I gave up because it was getting closer and closer to 4 AM and I thought I'm going to set all the alarms off, so I need to leave. But I set my alarm to wake me up at 7:30 this morning and my body just like, what is happening? My feet are on fire again. Obviously I'm still fighting this infection, so it's cellulitis, and I think I was on my feet for too long yesterday, so my feet are like burning. I want to scratch them off again. So it's 9:15 AM now. I have until 1:30 to figure out how to box it, to finish it. Although I am absolutely loving Cher, let me show you. So here she is. Like I said, I have to put the missiles on, cannons, whatever you want to call them, so I could fit, you know, where is Cher going to fit? They had to go on so I could make sure she could fit snugly in there. But I have all the details to do around the board here next, and some more windows around the back of the Titanic because it's currently just white. I feel shocking. I feel like a bear's ass. I look like a bear's ass. I'm just going to carry on. I've only gone and blooming finished it. It is 11:30, and for 3.5 hours sleep, I am surprisingly awake right now. I probably won't be in a few hours, but I'm not feeling too bad at the moment. But we now have some little lights on it. We have lots of glitzy sparkle. I am still absolutely loving Cher here. I think it's her big hair. I've decided to add some little disco balls because when I came, like if I zoom out, there's a lot going on down the bottom. There's railings going on here, and then Mariah's obviously got a tree and stuff, and there was just a space. There was a space. It was annoying me. It really needed something there. And I rummaged through the cupboards and was like, oh my God, disco balls. This is absolutely perfect because then that leads up to the musical notes. So happy to find those. So I added those on. I think they look pretty good. And then we've got the little orange butterflies from Mariah up there. And then the couple standing on top with their banner that says Divas Live. They are super sparkly in their suits. The topper is removable. I made it removable because I'm going to measure this in a minute and tell you how high this is, but I can't even zoom. I'm leaning over my other worktop to try and get the full shot of this cake in. I'm going to have to tilt the camera just to kind of get the whole thing in. So I made the topper separately so I could take that and pop it on when we get to the venue, because this ain't going in the car otherwise. Just gave this a little measure. It is 3 foot. So this is a 3 foot tall cake, and now I have a couple of hours to figure out how to get this in the car. So like how tall it is will be fine. I'll take the toppers off and I should be able to slot it in the car. How tall it is, the problem comes, let me spin this around, is the turrets. As you can see, they overhang the board quite a bit. I don't want it to slide in the car and these just get completely obliterated. It is also super heavy, and the cake is obviously at the back of the board as well, so the bulk of the weight is actually towards this end, so it's going to have to be carried from the back, and then these will be facing outwards at the front. It's just the logistics of it. It's just the logistics of how heavy it is. There's overhang. Obviously, it's very tall as well. Not gonna lie, absolutely dreading this delivery. I'm getting too old for this. I'm getting too old for cakes that are so big and so stressful. I just want to thank past Tracy for ordering boxes that were slightly bigger than she remembered. Oh my god, look at it. It fits like a glove. Kind of only fits like a glove from side to side. This obviously angle's not great. So I can't put the front flap up, but I've got it in a box in some shape or form. I'm going to bend these flaps over like this and tape it. Not entirely sure what I'm going to do with the front, but oh my gosh, it's in a blooming box. I cannot decide if I'm a genius or if I'm absolutely ridiculous, but I have modified the box. Cut a big hole in it. You just see Cher peeping out. I think I might sit with this sideways in the car, because if we brake too hard, then the missiles are going to hit the front seat, and if I'm holding it, I could crush the cannons with my stomach. So I might hold it sideways because it's not coming out of the box, because there's a little ledge there, so it's not going anywhere. So I might just put it sideways in the hope that nothing happens to it. But yeah, I'm feeling a little bit better about this now, because I did not want to take this into the car without any type of box and have it just sat on my knee completely open. We've got the box on a little table in the walkway ready to take it out to the car. It's just in there by Adam's Huffing and Puffing. I think it's pretty heavy. We're in. We are very, very close to the roof of the car, and we have the little that still makes me laugh. Why does this make me laugh? The little cannons sticking out of this side, so I've just got to be careful where I put my hand, because usually I steady the cake using this hand on this side of the box like this to kind of move it up and down, but obviously I've got the cannons sticking out, so I just have to be a little bit mindful that they're there. That turned into a very stressful delivery. We got there absolutely fine, but we parked up near where the double doors were to take it in, and all the wedding party started piling out. We just knew that was going to end up happening, because we don't usually come and do changeovers. We're usually like there and gone before any guests have even arrived. So we moved the car because the photographer wanted group shots, so we moved the car a bit further away from the doors. So when everything was sorted, I went in to see where the cake was going. Came back to the car to grab the cake. We stood in there a while waiting for the table and stuff to be set up, and then we had a very slight mishap with the cannons. So the cannons made it here in one piece, but we'd put the cake in the boot whilst I went to talk to the event planners where it was going to go. And there's a little box in the boot that was waiting to go to the studio, to be dropped off at the studio, and turn the box round to bring it out of the boot, and the cannons had caught on the box, so it obliterated the middle one. And exactly what I said would happen when it was an open box. So the middle cannon, the end came off and gouged a little hole in the next cannon. Luckily, I had brought a paintbrush with me and some water and a little bit of paste, because I was going to stick the topper on. So I was going to stick the topper on with like a wet paste to kind of keep it in place, but it's easy enough to take off when they want to keep it. Unfortunately though, the paste I brought was navy, because the top tier was navy and the cannons are obviously grey, so I couldn't use the paste to fix it. So I just had to kind of wet the icing the best I could and like stick the end of the cannon back on and smooth as much as I could. You could still see it a little bit, but on the overall, because there was just so much going on the cake, to the normal eye, I don't think many people would notice it. People are only going to notice it now that I've said it. And I did film the cake afterwards on the table, and it wasn't like majorly that bad. But it was just a stressful situation, because the minute Adam realised that had happened, he was literally just sat on the floor at the side of the car. It's like, don't speak to me, I'm going to cry. So he was just sat whilst I fixed it a little bit, fixed it up the best I could, took it in, set it up, and like none of the staff noticed. The staff were just so excited because it was Cher. One of them was singing in Cher's voice, and getting all the staff to come and have a look at it. So we managed to set it up on the table, as you will have seen. And then there was another cake maker there. She'd brought some cupcakes, and it's always stressful, because obviously something like that has happened. You don't usually get damages very often. It's very, very rare we have damages. It was just, we kind of knew this was going to happen with it being so fragile and stuck out of the box. Something was going to happen. But to be fair, if we didn't need to move the car and wait for the photographers and stuff, it would have probably made it in fine, because it was sat on my knee, it would have gone straight in. It's because we put it in the boot, because we were a bit further down on the car park. But it is what it is. Things like that happen. It's fixed. It's not like completely ruined or anything, so that's fine. But with another cake maker being there, it's that extra heightened thing of, she's got cake maker's eyes. So she was like saying, because she recognised my business name, she said that she follows me, and she wanted to take a picture of the cake and stuff, and she was saying like, oh, my cakes are really neat. And I'm just thinking, God, half of the cannon was hanging off 2 minutes ago. It's not that neat now, but it's just one of them things where there's another cake maker there. And then I saw Jane again. So Jane, yesterday when we dropped the other cake off at Shireburn Arms, where Jane got married a couple of weeks ago, so that's in another vlog, she moves around some of the venues who are all in the same kind of under the umbrella of these different wedding venues. And she was working there today. She was like, are you joking? Like, I only seen you yesterday. And I don't know what she must have thought, because we're in the same clothes we were yesterday. I stink. I need a shower, because I've been up, like, we were up at 4 o'clock in the morning and then up again this morning, so we haven't had time to do anything. And she just thought, well, we're wearing the same clothes as they were yesterday. So yeah, she was there and we saw her again. But all is well. It's done. The toppers are on, the cake is up, the staff all like it, so hopefully the two grooms will like it when they see it, Stephen and Alex. I didn't even film any of the wedding setup. I didn't film any of the outside of Eaves Hall. We were just kind of happy to get out of there, I think. We were just happy to leave and get in the car and like, right, it's done. It's done. It is what it is now. I'm going home for a shower. I'm going to put some pyjamas on and probably eat something really rubbish. How are you feeling, Adam?
Rough.
You feeling rough?
Yeah.
You're not
I want a beer.
You want a beer? You want a beer? You haven't drunk a beer in how long?
18 months.
18 months. And it's not because we're alcoholics or anything and giving it up. It was just one of those things where we're like, we cut a lot of things out, like I said, Disney Plus, like beer costs a lot. It was like, well, we don't really need to drink it. Same with smokers. A lot of smokers might give up because they just think it costs a lot of money, so we might as well just give it up. So alcohol, we kind of just give it up and drunk. We buy fizzy pop as a little special treat instead of beer. Because we have like Vimto and cordial usually. So when we buy a fizzy drink, it's a bit like a normal person going out and buying a beer. So sometimes we'll have a cream soda or a dandelion and burdock. So we've been buying fizzy pop, and we just haven't drunk anything for, like I said, about 18 months. Not wanted to go out and get a beer or anything. But now Adam is ready for a beer after that delivery. My gosh, we haven't had a delivery like that in a while. It's just... That's
top tier.
That's top tier. Is that one of your worst ever deliveries?
We've only had two. This one, and the one where we walked through the wedding party because we were that late.
Oh, we were late. Yeah, there were no fatalities of that one. We were stuck in a lot of traffic trying to get to the wedding venue.
The previous venue.
Yeah, we were doing 2 deliveries in one day, and we were held up with the first venue for a very long time because her car broke down. She lost the keys. The venue wasn't open. She wouldn't let us go and set up the night before. It was all really bad, that venue, weren't it? And then we got held up there. So then when we were trying to make it to the second venue, all the guests were there, and we were kind of like setting the cake up as all the guests were there, but the bride and groom didn't see us like setting it up. It was just a couple of the guests that were kind of hanging around. But
it with a full wedding party, minus the bride and groom.
So, but at least we didn't break anything on that one. It was just this one. It was just that thing. It made it all the way to Eaves Hall in one blooming piece. And it was on the car park where that happened, and we would have had it in one piece had we not needed to park up. But it is what it is. It's fixed. It's not massively bad. It's just that obviously you try to avoid it if you can. But we're on our way home now. It's about just a 40-minute trip. I am stressed. I'm sweating. And we're just gonna probably eat some junk food tonight, aren't we now? Pizzas. Takeaway. It is now the next week, but I needed to come on and finish the vlog because it just stopped abruptly when we were in the car coming back from the delivery. We were supposed to go out on the Sunday to watch Haunted Mansion because obviously we'd missed out when my ankle and foot swelled up on Abby's birthday. She went out and saw it anyway, so we were going to go out, just me and Adam, and watch it separately, but we were just both so exhausted, like drained mentally, emotionally, physically, that we just did absolutely nothing. I have heard back from the couple who had the big Diva cake. They loved it. So they sent the email through saying they absolutely loved it. It was a big part of their day. Thank you very much. The guests loved it. It's doing the rounds on social media. So I replied and I had to tell them that the cannon had broke, but I'd managed to fix it. And hopefully with them not saying anything, it was hopefully a good enough fix. I didn't get a reply to that one, but they have since replied to a comment on the cake saying thank you again, and they've left me a review. So that's all you want as a cake maker when something goes wrong. That is all you need to hear. So I am starting a new week. I'm going to end this vlog here and jump straight into another one because we are on another wedding cake this week. Thankfully, this one's going to be a lot quicker and easier. So I will see you for this next vlog in a couple of weeks' time.